So I'm going to have a very simple quick go at the cross stitch feature of Hatch Embroidery 3. Now it is an add-on, so it does need to be purchased separately, but once you have it, you go to Design Space, then File and Cross Stitch, and it will open up a separate program that you can design cross stitch patterns in. There is an auto feature, but today I'm going to be designing manually. A couple of things that I'm going to set up first are thread colours. I can assign them there from all sorts of different embroidery thread charts. I'll leave them as they are for standard for now. Fabric count, I'm going for 18 stitches per inch. The smaller this number, the bigger the design will be, but it doesn't change the amount of actual stitches, if that makes sense. Options. I set the hoop size here, and you do have to set the hoop size each time you come into this particular section of the software. I'm going for quite a small hoop. The grid, set this distance between lines at the same distance you have for your fabric count, so I'm using 18. Now, just so this screen doesn't get a bit too distracting for a second, I'm going to switch that grid off and zoom in to the hoop. Okay, now we need to be in the design area of this software in order to plot stitches out. Picture is where we would add a reference picture that we can then trace in the design settings, design software. Because we're not using a picture, I'm going to turn picture off, turn the grid back on. Now I'm going to be trying to recreate a very basic Bargello design, so I'm going to be plotting the individual stitches using the pencil tool. So it's usually a count of 5 up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you basically click and then drag your cursor up to set the stitches. And then on this side you come down and repeat. And then the same here. Now I'm going to use the rubber stamp tool in a second to carry that across, but I'm just going to start plotting my other colours. So I access the different colours here. I'll go for an orange this time. And then I'll do a third, which will be, in fact, actually I'll do 4 rows. And then one last row we'll do in a bright yellow. Oops. Now, if you do go off-piste, you can basically delete a stitch with the right mouse button. Now I'll save it at this point, and we're saving in the EMX format. Save. And before I can save it, I need to give it a name. So let's call it Bargello. Save. Okay, now in order to use the rubber stamp tool, what I need to do is select all of those stitches. So for this one, I'm going to use the polygon tool. And basically I just plot a box around it using the left mouse button and then enter to close that box, and it will select all of those stitches. Now I hit the rubber stamp tool, and then basically I have this attached to my cursor. so that I can basically just repeat this across the page. So you can see how quickly these designs build up. I won't have room for another one at the end there. So let's go back to that. Now to repeat it down, I'm going to select all of these. Hit the rubber stamp tool again. Now I have the whole block. And I've just managed to create a whole massive selection there. So to fill the odd bits in, I'm going back to my pencil tool. Now this time I'm going to use the auto select to select just one of those. You can see it's put the marquee around just one of those, and then with the rubber stamp tool I can fill in those bits very quickly and very easily. And then when I get to the end, because there's a half of one of those, I will just do that manually. Now down here I need to do the red again, so I think it was C1, wasn't it? Let's hope so. And then again, auto select. Just before I continue, I'll press save just to be sure. Rubber stamp tool. Bish bash bosh. And save. Okay, so I've got my design. There's a whole bunch of stuff up here that was created when I used the rubber stamp tool. But to be honest, I'm going to clear all that up when I get back to the Hatch software. So now that I've saved it as an EMX file, I can do that. So I'm going to exit this software, come back into Hatch, go to Insert Design, select my Bargello pattern, and click Open. I'll get this notification that it's not a grade A or B design, so I can't resize it too much, but that's fine. I designed it at size, so that's fine. Now, let's start by getting rid of this stuff. Oops, no, don't do that, John. Let's find it. Let's ungroup. Just select those bits and delete them. Now I'm going to use that new center all feature to center the design and bring the design into my workspace. Let's run it through the stitch player. So basically the next thing for me to do is File, Export Design. So I took that over as a PES file to my Brother Embroidery machine and started it up. Just 4 colours to work through. Here I am working through the second colour, and then obviously working through subsequent colours. It's very quick, very precise stitching, I must admit, and a top tip from me is trust the sequencing that comes out of the cross-stitch gem. Don't try and resequence, otherwise you'll probably mess things up quite a bit. Anyway, here's the finished result. It's pretty awesome, isn't it? I can't wait to try some more realistic designs. Thanks for watching. Please remember to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe.